you.
And good afternoon, everyone. Dan Castricone and Emily Conver here on WTBQ, 1110 AM, 93.5 FM, and as always, streaming live. I know we've got a few listeners down in Florida that are always listening through the streaming section of the show, and I don't want to hear from you today, as we deal with in Tuxedo. We got 30 inches of snow. It looks to be, as we drove in, you got around 2 feet or, a hair under here in Warwick. I know that in Monroe, you were around 2 feet, right, Emily?
Oh, I think a little over 2 feet.
Yeah. So, just crazy. And my wife, who's a school nurse, was very upset because Tuxedo is out of snow days. Yes. So now, she starts looking at her spring break and Memorial Day weekend and sees the days being crossed off, and nobody wants that. My son, on the other hand, was very excited to have the day off, and he's a live for today kind of guy. Doesn't care about
as most kids are. My boys are the same, jumping up and down.
Doesn't care about the losing the day off of that week, because he'll probably stay home on that day anyway. So here we are. We've got a good show planned today, I hope. Lots going on in the national news, and Emily and I were having a discussion on semantic distinctions for Stormy Daniels, and maybe we'll get to that later on in the show. But before we get to hooker versus porn star, I'm
on team porn star, by the way.
You're on team porn star. I want to open it up for we can add another into that category. We have politicians today, right? So
we do. Oh no.
I'm patting a great guy on the back here who's come into the show and has been an integral figure in Monroe for many years, and has decided to throw his hat in to run for mayor in the Village of Monroe. And that man is Neil Dwyer. Neil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Now, I know we've got some of your running mates. Look like they're milling about in the anterior room. We'll see if we can get them on the air maybe at the first break.
That'd be great.
But Neil, you've been a trustee for Monroe
since 2014. I was elected. Yep, March of 14, and took my seat in April of 14.
All right. So you've
and Neil is far too modest to mention this, but he was the highest vote getter of any candidate in that election. And he was one of 5 people running for 2 trustee seats 4 years ago. And and there was also a mayoral election that year. And Neil received more votes, even though he was in a 5-way race, than any other candidate running in that election.
Nice. So we know we have a base of support out there, at least.
And a very well-regarded, well-respected, loved person.
Yeah. And you were part of the United Monroe.
Sure.
You were endorsed by United Monroe, right?
Yes, we were.
So that's. Are you on the executive committee there?
I am.
All right.
I am a member since 2012.
Yeah.
So you're not going to find anyone who knows more about the ins and outs of all the happenings in Monroe than Neil. So. Trustee Dwyer, why have you decided to run for mayor?
Well, when I got in 14, I got an acute appreciation for what it takes to run a village. Monroe is a beautiful village, and I've known it since I'm a little boy, and I found that when I became a trustee, I got to see it at a whole different level. And because of that, I had decided pretty early on that I wanted to stay involved in any way I could. And as my term moved along, I had made a decision that we needed some changes, and that I would put my foot into the race for mayor, which I believe is the CEO of the village.
Yeah, and mayors have. It's interesting. Mayors have slightly more power in their municipality than, say, a supervisor does.
Sure.
In a town election, you set the agenda, and you're really the, like you said, the CEO of the village, everything that's going on. You're not just one vote out of 5. You're the manager of the village.
That's true. You're the manager. You're the person that's held responsible for a lot of different decisions, starting with, as you say, the agenda, which I have, some issues with myself as a trustee, as one of 4 trustees in the village. So true. Initially, I found that the management or the CEO of the village, there were some issues for me, and I needed to constantly find myself addressing them and trying to step up to the plate where I could and try to gain consensus from other trustees to work with me to see those changes happening. And then I became, again, acutely aware that the only way to do this was to actually become the CEO and ask for support from the residents in the village and to move forward. And that's what I did.
How long have you lived in the village?
I've been a resident since 1987. My wife is a lifelong resident. I come from Blooming Grove. My family came to the Monroe area in 1962, an uncle. So every summer we'd come up and vacation up here. Every summer it was really great. I knew Airplane Park before the airplane was there. And I knew the ponds and the fishing and all the other pieces of that puzzle that make up Monroe, the beautiful area that it is. So, but a full-time resident since '87.
Now, I know that longtime listeners of the station may actually know your son, right? You raised, I know of your one son. You may have more kids, but I only know the one.
No, one son only, yes.
That you raised in Monroe, and then he worked as an intern here at the station and now has moved on to big-time radio, right?
Yeah, my son actually, he attended Johannesburg Catholic High School, and he has shown an interest in broadcasting since he's about 11. I used to have seats down at the Yankee Stadium, so he'd come to the game and do play-by-play from the seat, and you could see where he was just really enamored with the whole play-by-play and the broadcasting elements of it. And as a senior, Frank Truax here at the station, they found each other and gave Neil an opportunity, and he's been really, really generous over a long period of time. Neil, when he actually went down to the University of Miami to study broadcast journalism, whenever he'd come back for break or vacation, Frank would have him on the air, and they had a great back and forth, live, open mic. He'd have guests, and they'd be chatting about things, and Neil had an opportunity to dig in. So it was really great. Yeah,
He's got a
Neil's part of the
tremendous
family.
voice for radio, too.
He does.
What a voice.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah,
he's got
quite a talent.
All right. So that's, folks out there, if you recognize the name, that may be one place. Or you might not recognize Neil from, the wonderful construction business that you have in Monroe with a great reputation for, finishing the job and doing it well. Why don't we take a break here? And when we come back, we'll try to get one of your running mates from out in the anterior room actually into the studio.
That'd be great.
We'll be right back on WTBQ.
My parents' dining room table was built by my great-great-grandfather in the 1860s using 9 different woods and is still used weekly by 3 generations of Millspaws. One of his philosophies was the more glue and the less screws makes a better piece of furniture. Hi, this is Keith Millspaw of Millspaw Furniture of Walden, Warwick, and Poughkeepsie. And using the perfect materials and construction method still makes the best non-disposable furniture and mattresses. Our Schiffman mattresses are crafted using time-honored construction methods and the finest materials including Earth's most perfect sleep material, pure Talalay latex, all natural and 100% non-allergenic. Millspaw Furniture is also selling 100% pure Talalay mattresses, and when combined with an adjustable base provides 100% support along with a sleeping on a cloud sensation. To experience non-disposable comfort and the start of a great night's sleep, come lay on a cloud today and feel for yourself. That's Millspaw Furniture, offering non-disposable furniture and mattresses since 1858.
Signorama, located at 33 South Street in Warwick, is your full-service sign center. Signorama uses the latest technology and highest quality products to produce custom signs for your business or service. Banners, yard signs, building signs, vehicle wraps, and much more. Let your imagination be your guide. Design your own or choose a template. Signorama works closely with each customer, and they are committed to ensuring that all your unique specifications are crafted to your satisfaction. Signorama's many repeat clients is the real sign of great products and the best customer service. Signorama's finished products bring visibility of your business out front. And remember, you only get one chance to make a first impression. So make it with Signorama. Visit them at 33 South Street in Warwick, or for further information, go to signorama-warwickny.com.
Would you like to learn to ski or snowboard? Mount Peter in Warwick, New York is better than ever with a new carpet lift, more hill space, and great events. They've got the best snow and grooming in the region. Mount Peter offers free beginner lessons every weekend and holiday. If there's no snow in your backyard, there's plenty in theirs. Find out more at mtpeter.com or call 845-986-4940. Mount Peter for family fun.
This is Sister Anna. Listen to The Garden of the Child, a story discussion time with students. Story develops listening skills and imagination. Saturdays at 11:10 a.m. on WTBQ.
WTBQ. And we're back. Dan Castricone and Emily Convert here on WTBQ, 11:10 a.m., 93.5 FM. And as always, streaming live at WTBQ.com. In the studio with us with the first quarter turn of the show. You heard a lot from Neil Dwyer. He's the candidate for mayor in the Village of Monroe. And when is that election, Neil?
March 20th.
All right, so that's coming up. And now seated to my left is one of Neil's running mates. Actually, the woman who contacted us and asked to come on the show, Carey Alley. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing well.
All right. So, Carey, you're...
I didn't hear her.
All right. Frank, I just want to make sure that we didn't hear her in our earphones. We're okay? Good.
Okay.
All right. So, Carey, why did you decide to toss your hat in to run for trustee in the village election?
Well, let me tell you about myself a little bit first. I am a lifelong resident of Monroe. I was born in Suffern, technically,
Yeah.
but raised in Monroe. And I'm one of 7 children, and 5 of which are still in Monroe, along with my mother. I have the best interest of the village at heart. And when it comes down to it, I think that's what brought me to this. That's what introduced me to Neil in the first place. Was we were like-minded and had a passion for the small businesses and the revitalization and what really was still there in the community that we had to work with right from the beginning. So why I decided to do this, little joke in my family is my husband calls me the fixer. It sounds like a mob movie, maybe, but he says he calls me the fixer. So everything I do, not that I'm one person, I cannot do anything on my own, but I always try to make something a little bit better. And the village, I've been through, coaching soccer. I have my own business. A little bit of everything, and this was just my next shot at trying to do a little bit of good and come out with something positive in the end.
Awesome. And there's one other running mate that you guys have on. You're calling yourselves the Smart Growth Party, I guess.
Yes. Dorey Houle is the finish of our slate. Yes, sir.
All right, and since she can't be here, tell us a little bit about Dorey.
So Dorey is a resident since 2014. Moved up from Staten Island. Her husband and her 5 children. Great family. He's a police officer with the NYPD. He's a combat vet. Air Force veteran, and they came up and almost instantly inserted themselves into the works of United Monroe and supporting them in any way that they could, and walking with ballots and petitions and so forth. So they've done a great job bringing themselves into the equation of trying to help as opposed to sitting back. And for that reason, we thought she'd make a great fit for our slate.
Excellent. So before we start talking about the issues and things, say her name again.
Dorey Houle, Houle.
Excellent.
Great Irish name.
All right. So what are your top priorities? What are the top 3 or 4 things that you want to accomplish in your term as mayor and as trustee?
Well, we came out with a bullet platform of 6 items. The first one that we thought and feel very passionately about is the revitalization of the downtown. The downtown makes up, in any community, brings a cohesive element that I think all residents like to have. I think most people will agree that they would like to see a downtown where it's friendly, it's purposeful, it has use for them, and they can come together as a community, as opposed to a place where maybe you can't have that, or it's too big to have something like that. So you can tend to bring it down more into the micro. And the revitalization is a very big issue for us, because we're going through the big box period where, big retail boxes have come into the Monroe area. Woodbury Commons has come into the Monroe area. So now we're challenged with finding ways to revitalize that downtown and to make it more user-friendly and to bring certain types of businesses in there, and an element that would make more people want to come in and do that, to participate.
I know as a businessman, I mean, I've looked at, some real estate listings and some stuff for, for the village. And, there's some excellent opportunities there if you have faith that the village is going to turn around. The real estate there is, I could buy a building there for less than I'm paying in rent for my current location. So if you've got faith that things are going to turn around, there's opportunities there. There's infrastructure, a little bit of planning with with the way that the streets are used, and the ponds and the waterfall. That is just beautiful.
It's a jewel. Mm-hmm. It's funny you mentioned that. It's something I argue about all the time. Notwithstanding all the other great communities of Orange County and so forth, when you come into Monroe and you see the north and south ponds with the waterfall, which is the iconic element, or the major iconic element of Monroe, it's just stunning. The walking trails provide over 3 miles of walking and or jogging and or whatever opportunities you have in mind for the trails. And that's a wonderful thing, So we have a lot of people coming into our village. We need to bring them into our downtown to participate after they take that walk, to be part of that day, which would include the downtown. So you're right, the ponds are a jewel for us. We have our parklands, which we're very proud of in there, and we've just got to grow that the right way. We got to put the right messaging out there to the folks.
Forgive me if I misread this or got it wrong. Wasn't there some talks about removing the dam and?
Yeah, and in 2013, there was a conversation by the current mayor and the current board at the time to find ways to change the geography of our ponds, which was to eliminate the South Pond and to shrink the North Pond and create a stream, as it were.
And remove the waterfall, he wanted to.
Yeah, well, by removing the waterfall, declassifying the dam, and bringing the waterfall level down, the actual spillway would have provided for the water to just be removed from the pond and then backfill it in to create more grassland. And frankly and honestly, when I ran on that. That was my Tiananmen Square. That was one of the main points of my running in 2014. Was I thought it was insanity, and I knew I had to get involved at that time for that reason. And I attended those workshops. They had a couple of workshops at the elementary school. It was well attended, and the presentations were made, and all kinds of numbers were thrown around, and
it was a dog and pony show, Neil. I mean, that was my perception. You don't have to agree with me. I attended the same meeting you attended at Sapphire Elementary School, and the images of what the park was going to look like after the waterfall was removed were really kind of a trumped up version of reality. And also, like you said, the numbers were so extremely high for what would have supposedly repaired the dam, which was what they needed to do at the time. And, it just felt like I had as a citizen of the Village of Monroe, I had a real feeling that the current mayor was just lying through his teeth. That's what it felt like as a citizen. And, this is somebody who's been in office for 8 years. It's time to it's time for some new blood.
Well, just a little history on that. So the DEC has made a recommendation going back to the 80s to make these repairs and these different, elements of infrastructure repair. And that can just kept getting kicked down the road. So administration just kept moving along. So it's been a long time in the making with the repair end of it. But to your point, one of the challenges was to think that the one icon in the village, I mean, every pin, every placard, every piece of paper that comes out of the Village of Monroe shows the dam and the water wheel and David Smith's grist mill that provided services for close to 200 years. So it was really troubling at the end of the day to think that past administrations, and I'm going back quite a ways, over several administrations, nothing was done. And locally, when you have this great opportunity to effectuate the most positive change, is right there at the village level. We get to do a great job because we're so small in terms of geography, and we're challenged.
Well, this is something I've always appreciated about you, Neil, is your deep love and respect for landmarks and the Monroe's history.
Sure.
And we haven't had that in the last 8 years. And beyond. And beyond. You're right. And I know that you've really taken a deep interest in preserving Monroe's history and historical buildings, such as the Roscoe Smith property, which you have been really instrumental in trying to save.
Sure. Roscoe Smith was an incredible individual, incredibly gifted individual. He brought electricity to a unified basis in the Village of Monroe and elsewhere. Actually, he started down in Tuxedo working in a plant generating electricity as a young boy.
All the best things do, but that's...
Yeah,
I digress.
But he, remarkable person. He has given us so much, so incredibly thoughtful man and family that I felt compelled. Initially and honestly, I was troubled by some data that had come to my attention when I first got on the board with regard to the infrastructure of his property and the cost it would take to do it, which at the time was revealed to me to be between $3.5 and $5 million. And I accepted that on face value, being new to the table. I put a lot of trust in what I was told. Subsequently, I found in short order that wasn't the case, and that I asked to do my own review, and I did so, and came up with a much lower price point. And then a lot of people came to me with the desire and the interest to also help preserve it. So we've got a jewel right there at the edge of our village, and we need to take care of that.
Let me move over to my left. Neil said that there were like 6 points. What else are you outgunning for, Carey? What else are you looking to fix?
A main topic in Monroe, especially this winter with the weather, is our infrastructure, our water infrastructure. And this has been, it's walking and speaking to residents, they are very passionate about getting everything fixed and knowing exactly what we have to do they want to continue to invest here. They want to keep their homes here. But without that infrastructure, they're saying, okay, well, when are we going to update this? So we have an obligation to, the residents that are there right now to make sure that it's there, that their investment is, solid, that they will continue to stay here, but without, and I'm not just speaking water, we have an aging infrastructure throughout. It's not just the water. That's only the most prevalent example that's come to light and has been made very evident this winter. there are several other. My main passion goes back to the downtown revitalization, and actually my passion is small business, and I work with entrepreneurs for a reason. I love to see growth. I love to see it from the bottom level and moving up, and that has been my goal from the beginning. Was as a small business owner, when I went into the Village, it was okay. Where do you start here? Now you've got three things that you have: the landlord, you have the business owner, and then you have the consumer. And the consumer has to be able to get to your business. They have to have a place to park. It has to be well lit. So even though we're going back to revitalization here, that's really, when I stepped in here was, hey, wait a second, we can't do this without it.
That's the star that everything else is kind of orbiting around. We're about at the halfway point here. Why don't we take a break? We'll hear from our sponsors. And folks, Emily and I will be right back on WTBQ.
Chris Steritz has been an award-winning associate broker for more than 28 years. Chris's vast knowledge of Orange County ensures that your goals will be met whether you are a buyer or a seller, and she will help with your home inspection, mortgage, and appraisal process. She's also a specialist in corporate relocation, and the home inventory on her website is always current. For more information or to contact Chris, visit chrissteritz.randrealty.com.
Every Good Deed Title Agency is Orange County's reliable title insurance and settlement services company in the residential and commercial real estate industry. This is Bob Krahulik, the lawyer guy here on WTBQ Radio and owner of Every Good Deed Title Agency. I've been in the abstract and title insurance business for over 20 years. Contact me for a free quote on title insurance and settlement services for your next real estate or refinance transaction. Contact Every Good Deed Title Agency at 986-3713, everygooddeed.us.
The premier instructors at Independent Helicopters offer flight school classes where you can attain a private license, a commercial license, and instrument and CFI certifications, all at Stewart Airport in New Windsor. Learn emergency maneuvers in their Frosca flight simulator. Financing and scholarships are available, and WTBQ will award a fun-filled gift package to the 10th student to sign up for flight school. For more information or to become a student, visit independenthelicopters.com.
Hi, this is Tom Lovelace. Join me and my guests every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for the Lovelace Music Experience. Exciting interviews and great music from every genre, right here on WTBQ, playing the best music.
WTBQ weather.
This afternoon we'll have intervals of clouds and sun, breezy. There could be a flurry around, highs near 40. Now early tonight, watch out for a snow shower that could coat the ground, lows near 25. On Friday, we'll have some snow showers once again in the afternoon. Again, a coating chance, 35 to 44 a high. And then on Saturday, it looks like it'll be dry, breezy with a high of 40, and it's back to 40 on Sunday. From the WTBQ Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Mahalik.
WTBQ.
And we're back. Dan Castricone and Emily Conver, your usual Thursday hosts here on WTBQ. 11:10 a.m., 93.5 FM, and as always streaming live at WTBQ.com. We've been carrying on a conversation about the upcoming elections in the Village of Monroe, with so much tumult in the town of Monroe over the last few years. Each level of government has a spotlight on it. It's more important than ever before, especially to have competent leadership as Monroe goes through the changes that it's going through. I think your town board is in pretty good shape, but we're talking about the village board. So we were running through some of the points that you think are important. We talked a little bit about the revitalization of downtown. We talked a little bit about infrastructure. What else is important in the Village of Monroe?
Well, we have a very acute awareness of a comprehensive plan that currently has been adopted back in February of 14, and it was started in 2012. A lot of things have changed in the Village of Monroe. The economy has changed, the demographics have changed. lot of things are going on, and it's incumbent, based on the recommendation of the comprehensive plan, to open it back up and to review it and to see if it still all applies. What have we done that was advised or recommended by the comprehensive plan to apply in Houle Village, and have we done it? And there are things that we would definitely like to see amended and changed, and the best way to do that, first and foremost, is to reopen it and look at the comprehensive plan and the zoning that goes with it. So that's a big point for us in our campaign.
You know, the zoning is so important. You know, as everything that goes on, you know, comes back to the zoning, comes back to a zoning board of appeals that will stand its ground and you know, uphold what's going on in the comprehensive plan. That's more immune to some of the pressure and nonsense that we see so much, especially in Monroe. I mean, you know, there are, it seems, bottomless pockets always looking to purchase and you know, and expand in the town of Monroe and the village of Monroe. So your you know, your plan and your ZPA is hugely important. All right, so we're going to reopen the comprehensive plan. We're going to look at infrastructure. We want to pay a lot of attention to the revitalization of downtown. What else do you want to do?
One of the big things for me is the Architectural Appearance Review Board. I served on that committee prior to becoming a trustee. And when I served with a full board and a chair, we were reviewing sign applications. So if a business wanted to come in and install a sign on their property, they were obligated to come to this board and seek a review and an approval that would move on to then the building department. Well, in the history of that Architectural Appearance Review Board, I had discovered that back in 1992, when the law was first written, providing that body with a code, if you will, I found out that they had a lot more to do than just reviewing sign applications, and that the actual body had been diluted to just signs and not the actual vertical space of a building, colors, symmetry, lack of symmetry, planting. I mean, there was a lot of things that the Architectural Appearance Review Board were responsible for, but over a period of time had been diluted to not, you know, maybe seeing a sign or two application coming in on a monthly basis. And in fact, interesting story, in 1992, when that board had first been established, I was doing a renovation project in the downtown on many of the storefronts that were contiguous to each other. And at that time, I had to go before the Architectural Appearance Review Board 4 times, showing samples and mock-ups of everything that we were going to do. And I could tell you that's not the case. So I really believe very passionately and completely that the Architectural Appearance Review Board needs to be an independent board, separate from any other body in the Village of Monroe. For the same reasons there is a ZBA and there's a planning board, the Architectural Board Review Board has definitely a purpose.
You know, when you're one of the first lines of defense in revitalizing your downtown and to getting the kind of businesses and things that you want there is to, I mean, there is a process that we've seen over and over where a landlord will buy a building and, you know, try to fill it with as many people as possible, and move on and take over a whole block that way by degrading the outside of the structures. And, you know, a strong architectural review board can prevent that really, you know, from the get-go, in terms of, you know, and your whole code enforcement process, you know, making sure that the garbage cans are where they're supposed to be and that no one's parking, you know, cars without license plates in the front yard and all of that stuff, from that little broken window policing all the way up to your ARB and your zoning board. I mean, that's the way you've got to, if you're going to turn a village around, that's the way you got to do it.
Absolutely. I know Carey has the same feelings on that because she is a business owner in that very downtown that we're talking about. And again, if it's not pleasing or it doesn't evoke what the residents are asking for, it's problematic. And then to your point about the broken window, starting with the broken, it's true. The little hole in the roof, if you don't take care of it, it becomes a bigger hole and the damage becomes greater, and there are other issues that go with that. So we're really fixed on that AARB, the revitalization. These things will bring people and businesses and investment into our community.
All right. I'm going to throw the phone number out. If anybody wants to give us a call here, it's 651-1110. And our candidates, Neil Dwyer and Carey are certainly willing to take a call if you have a question. And I will moderate those and make sure that they're reasonable and good questions. Carey, what kind of business you have downtown?
I am a personal trainer. So
All right.
aside from my regular job, I work in a local dental practice. I spend my days there. I started my own business a few years ago. I moved from Harriman into the Village of Monroe 2 years ago, and what I saw was, knowing it firsthand, I saw it now from a business perspective. So I knew it from the consumer's perspective. I understand the business owner's perspective because that's what I do on a regular day. And now I had the opportunity to see it from the small business perspective. And speaking with my clients, everybody who comes in, there's a lot, as far as I'm fortunate enough to have my own parking lot, but I do hear a lot about the parking, the safety, well lit. Now that integrates not just with my business, I'm a block away from the movie theater. So it integrates with the downtown as well, the restaurants that are going there. Neil has spoken about the AARB. I wish Dorey were here as well because she's very passionate about speaking on the opportunities to bring in more activities for our youth and integrate the small businesses with the nonprofits, with more opportunities for our youth. Right now, she was saying the other night she had teenagers at home and they had nothing to do. They had nowhere to go. It was a night. Growing up here, I know, I can't say there was every opportunity, but there was a lot more than there is now. Even just going out to meet your friends. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and they decide to go to TGI Fridays for dinner. Well, it's drive them, it's pick them up. There's not a lot of leeway, for and a lot of activities that are safe for the kids. So, that goes into our infrastructure as well. Building that, integrating the small businesses. Like I said, the nonprofits. I have a large passion for my nonprofits. I've worked with the Monroe Girl Scout community for years. And, after my daughter was out of Girl Scouts, I continued to run events behind the scenes. And just because I was very passionate about seeing these girls have something that they belong to and, empowering them in their own sense. And it's not just about going to meetings and everybody thinks that, well, Girl Scouts as well as Boy Scouts integrates into the community. Some of the best projects, the Eagle Scout projects that have been around the community, they're still there. And I reference one specifically that I recommend clients to regularly that is right across from the airplane park, which an Eagle Scout had done a project that mapped out the distance. Okay, now Emily, you know it.
I know it well.
Everybody knows
I walk
it.
those ponds all the
so
time.
A figure eight is you know the distance of it.
It's wonderful, and it breaks it down if you only do the north part of the pond, the south part of the pond.
Right,
it's wonderful.
So projects like that, and really, we believe that becoming part of the community starts as when you're in your youth. A lot of the people I went to school with are moving back to the area. And it's, why are they moving back to the area? There's got to be something here that really kept them here, kept them grounded. Well, we were all integrated into the community, whether it was with our soccer program, whether it was with our scouting program, whether it was whatever that was. It was a little bit different for everybody. But I feel like that kept everybody together. And I feel like we've kind of lost that sense of community. I will say Scouts when we were younger would make the decorations for Smithcliffe Park tree lighting every year. There's a little bit more to be done rather than just, okay, the tree lighting is this year, here's the tree, boom, done. So, like I said, Dorey, I wish she could talk on this for,
I have a feeling we're going to be hearing from her very
Good.
soon.
Oh, we'd love to hear it.
Now when you walked in, I knew that I knew you, but I don't remember meeting you.
I hope it's a good reason.
the father-daughter dances.
Oh, yes.
From the brownies and the Girl Scouts at the middle school. I took my daughter 5 or 6 years in a row, and we still have the pictures up all over the place that we always love to go. So we are at the three-quarter turn here. Why don't we take a break on WTBQ?
The brisk winter air and all of you are welcomed with open arms at the Mountain Creek Resort. Bring your family and friends to Mountain Creek and go skiing, snowboarding, or tubing and have fun with all the winter sports at Mountain Creek, where generations have learned to ski and snowboard. Whether it's your first time sliding on snow or you're looking for a tune-up on your technique, Mountain Creek has programs from single-session lessons to season-long memberships to get you out on the slopes this winter. Check out the events calendar for a list of the many fun adventures and activities where there's something for everyone, like their annual pond skim, ski racing, freestyle events, concerts, and much more. Participate, watch from the crowd, or bring the family for a memorable day at Mountain Creek Resort in Vernon, New Jersey. Go skiing, snowboarding, or tubing and have fun with all the winter sports at Mountain Creek. Mountain Creek has programs from single-session lessons to season-long memberships to get you out on the slopes this winter. Bring the family for a memorable day at Mountain Creek Resort in Vernon, New Jersey. For a list of all the events and activities, visit mountaincreek.com.
Dental Arts of Orange County is the perfect blend of a spa with high-tech dentistry, all in one classic and stylish office right on Main Street in the Village of Florida. Choose Dental Arts of Orange County whether you are in need of regular dentistry, cosmetic dental options such as Invisalign to enhance your smile and your self-confidence, or you just want to turn back the hands or the face of time with cosmetic treatments such as Botox and Juvederm. Call now for a complimentary consultation at 651-4647. With over 26 years of experience and ongoing advanced training and technology, Dr. Batafalvi is the only dentist for you and your entire family for all your needs. The Spa and Dental Arts of Orange County is the place everyone is talking about for state-of-the-art advancements in both dentistry and cosmetic treatments. Call now for a complimentary consultation at 845-651-4647 and visit their offices at 14 North Main Street in the Village of Florida.
This is Rachel Heiss, branch manager of Better Homes and Gardens Rand Realty. Are you looking for your dream home? Then choose the best, where we pride ourselves on making your dreams a reality. Our professional agents really listen to your wants and needs and deliver using the latest technology combined with good old-fashioned service. Visit randrealty.com for more information.
Hi, this is Laura Lawson, your host for The Wine Crush. Looking for the perfect wine or want to hear some of the latest trends?
Every Sunday at 6 p.m.
WTBQ, radio worth listening to.
WTBQ. And we're back. Dan Castricone and Emily Convere here on WTBQ, 1110 AM, 93.5 FM. Streaming live at WTBQ.com. With me in studio, Neil Dwyer and Carey, two candidates for the Village of Monroe. And I think we have another on the line. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
I am.
All right. Is this Dorey Houle?
This is Dorey Houle.
Okay, Dorey, and you are also a candidate for trustee in the Village of Monroe, along with Neil and Carey. Thanks for calling the show.
Hi,
You're welcome.
Dorey.
Thanks for having me. Hi, guys.
So we started each of the other candidates with, why? So I ask you, why are you running for Village of Monroe trustee?
I'm running for trustee of the Village of Monroe because when my husband and I bought our home in Maple Knolls, we essentially became an investor in the Village of Monroe. We decided that this was where we were going to take our money and put it. And as an investor, it's my responsibility to get the best out of the place where I'm living. And, that nobody ever says nobody needs to do something. Somebody needs to do something, and guess what? We're all a somebody.
Well, it sounds like you've got the right attitude. Sounds like a
Dorey
Staten Island
definitely somebody,
attitude,
by the way.
I think.
She definitely
right?
is somebody. I remember meeting Dorey at the town board meeting. We were, in very large numbers attending town board meetings of Monroe because of the dysfunction for so many years. And I saw a new face in the room. I usually know every face in the room because I've been going to these meetings for so many years. And there was Dorey sitting there, and I walked up to her and introduced myself. And I said, "Oh, here's somebody we need on board." She made a quick impression, a quick positive impression on me.
I remember that meeting, and what I also remember is that every time I saw you at every other event, you remembered my name.
Aw. Well, you're memorable, Dorey. You're very memorable.
So, Dorey, you're fairly new to Monroe.
I am.
You bring some outside perspective, and then we've got Neil, who's been here for 40 years, and Carey. I won't give away anything more than you've been here a long time, because
longer than Neil.
Longer than Neil. So it's a very nice mix. I know we have at least two business owners here. Dorey, do you own a business, or how do you pass your time?
I do not own a business, although I affectionately call myself the COO of Houle Enterprises, which we manufacture children. I am the mom to 5 children. The oldest of whom will be graduating Monroe Woodbury High School in June, and the youngest of whom are a set of 5-year-old twins who will start kindergarten in September. So I'm in this for the long haul.
Good stuff.
But prior to my move up here, I was a and a director of an academic program at the College of Staten Island, which is part of the City University of New York. And in that work, I had to write a self-study, which is kind of comparable to a comprehensive plan. And I had to write the mind, have it approved. So all of that work kind of puts me in line with being able to understand the comprehensive plan and what to do with the comprehensive plan, what the next steps should be. And I'm really excited to be working on that.
Now, Dorey, I apologize for this, but your phone is going in and out, which is, leaving some blank, at least in my headphones. So I don't want to have you on the air with not a great connection, because it makes it hard to listen on the radio. But I really appreciate you calling in, and I want to thank you for throwing your hat in the ring. Anybody who gets out there and puts themselves forward and says, I think I can help and I want to help, deserves kudos for sure. So thank you so much for calling in, and we'll make sure to mention your name another 4 or 5 times before we go off the air, so everybody knows that it's Dwyer and Allie and Houle. Do I have that right?
Got it.
Okay.
Got it, Dan.
So thank you
guys.
Thank you for calling.
Thanks, Dorey.
Thanks, Dorey.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I believe we went through 5 out of your 6 points, Neil. Is there something that we forgot?
Yeah, actually, one of the things I'm very passionate about is the open government type of environment. We don't have access to much of our in the way of our meetings, other than the minutes that are taken, which are complete, every meeting. But it would be a great opportunity for so many people to be able to see those meetings and to archive them and to have them in perpetuity, to be able to refer to them and to look at them. And that would be one of the things that we would step into immediately, is to see that all those meetings, whether it's Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, whether it's the Village Board of Trustees, anybody doing business on behalf of the village, will be recorded and videotaped. And we'd like to put our meetings in the cloud or in some sort of a web-based accessibility.
All right. We have another caller. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, it's John. Hi, Neil and Carey.
Hey, John.
And
Hi,
Emily
John.
and Dan.
Hello, John.
How are you, John?
Doing great. Even though I'm not in the village, I just wanted to say that how impressed I am with this team, especially because they listen. They're really open to suggestion from the citizens, and I think that's something that is really going to go well in the village. And what I'm especially impressed with is, and Neil, I wish you could talk about it, how you're going to get the citizens involved in the downtown revitalization.
Sure. So the goal there would be to invite, essentially, John, people who have interests in these areas to come in and meet with us as a board, and to create a group of people that'll be, charged with the responsibility of building a plan, and meeting regularly and discussing issues and reporting back to the village board and creating a process, I guess. And it's going to be out there to anybody and everybody that has an interest or a love or a passion for the Village of Monroe and what we're trying to accomplish.
All right. So, John, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
I appreciate the call and agree with the point that these folks certainly seem like, at least Neil has always taken my calls. He's always been open, and it's a great idea to have to find a way to index things, because you find yourselves answering the same questions over and over and over again. It would be great if there was a resource where people could go and find out what's
all of their
what.
bullet points of their platform are available for people to view on your Facebook page, correct?
That's correct, yep.
Which is called
Smart Growth Party, Village of Monroe, Smart Growth Party. Just go to that and you can catch all our bullets, and then from those bullets we speak more in depth about each one of them and what our plan to effectuate those items.
And if people want to meet the candidates, they have a good opportunity to do so at your fundraiser next Tuesday.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding us.
Sure.
Yeah. So on March 13th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we're going to be having a St. Patrick's event fundraiser, and it'll be from 6 to 9.
And it's dinner. It includes dinner, yes?
It includes this full complement of St. Patrick's fare, corned beef and cabbage, potatoes. We'll also have some other fare as well.
A couple of drink tickets included as well.
A couple of drink tickets. So it's going to be a great time. We'll have some Irish music. We're going to do some karaoke, and it's going to be an opportunity to really meet with us and chat us up.
And that's going to be Tuesday, March 13th, 6 to 9 at the Captain's Table.
At the Captain's Table, yes.
In Monroe.
All right. It'd be tough for me to pass up the karaoke.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear you, Dan.
There's an opportunity with me and a microphone.
Danny
I
boy.
can't stay away, right?
Danny boy.
So, and what better kind of function for Dwyer, Alley, and Houle.
Houle, right?
Absolutely.
Very apropos.
Dwyer, Alley, and Houle, so I get that right. A St. Patrick's Day fundraiser.
You can't beat it.
All right. So, wish you guys lots of luck. Thanks for asking to come on the show, and we were certainly happy to host it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
Before we go off the air, I do want to mention the Preserve Hudson Valley fundraiser. That's going to be on March 16th. It's handbag bingo. Go to preservehudsonvalley.org /events to check out all the information you need to. It's going to be amazing. Designer bags are going to be won that evening. People bring their own food and drink, and it'll be at the Presbyterian Church in Monroe on March 16th at 6 p.m.
We already have our table.
Oh, great!
Our
we'll
table's booked.
Fantastic! I'm so glad. So glad to be there.
Good stuff. The Preserve Hudson Valley for at my agency, anyone who mentions that when they call, if they buy insurance policies from us, we make donations to Preserve Hudson Valley, and if we quote you, we get you.
Oh, absolutely. Saved everybody money, Dan.
We just have some great products.
And you're going to be at the bingo as well, Dan.
I am going to sponsor it.
I think you're going to be calling one of the bingo
I'm going to
games.
sponsor it and do what I can there. So also before we check out here, I know that yesterday was Frank's birthday. Frank behind the glass running the board.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Frank.
And I believe that today is Mr. Ball's birthday, right? So we've got the birthday stuff running, and both of them look great for 80. So we're very happy there.
Oh.
Just teasing. Yeah, but so now I'm surprised they didn't cut me off. We are we're at the end of the show, folks. So we're here every Thursday. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Don't forget, March 20th is the election, Village Hall.
All right.
Village of Monroe.
Thank you.
Thank you.